Next we'll have Rachel Flum. Hi. How are you? Hello everyone. I'm Rachel Flum with the Economic Progress Institute, and I'm here to set the record straight on a couple things. The first is, this is a good time to raise taxes. You may have heard otherwise, but in fact, it is always a good time to raise taxes on the top 1% because they can afford to pay. But also, you may have heard, and you heard from Terry and others, how there are many people who have been hurt during this pandemic. But let me assure you that the folks who are the 5,000 filers who this tax will target are not those people. The top 1% have been at home, working from home. They have not seen their income go down. And in fact, I was just on a call listening to how much they're saving, right? How many of you guys are saving? This is the group that is saving during this pandemic. And so we can afford to have them pay more to help us all do better. It's important to pass this now. You may have heard this is not the time because we're getting a lot of federal dollars. But that is not the case. The way tax policy works is it takes a while to get the revenue. If we pass this now, it will go into effect for tax year 2022, which means it will get the revenue in April of 2023, just about the time that those federal funds are done. We know that people will still need help overcoming what they faced during this pandemic in 2023, but we need to pass this now so that we have the revenues we need then to keep going after the federal funds are gone. The other thing I just want to talk about is that there's no evidence that this will hurt our population. I got a secret. People don't move because of their taxes. They may move because of the weather, although on a day like today, I don't know why anybody would need to move. But they don't move because of the taxes, and the data shows that. If you look at the last 20 years, there is not a mass migration. If you look at a state like New Jersey that just passed a tax on the wealthy, people are not moving. Their census data just went up. So people are not going to move. And the other thing to note is it's not going to hurt our economy. In fact, it should help our economy. When we are able to invest in things that businesses want, like childcare, good bridges, good roads, businesses will thrive and we will all do better. So I just want to hit on small businesses for a minute. We've heard a lot about how small businesses will be impacted. Let me just tell you something. The vast majority of small businesses are not making $475,000 after expenses a year. They're just not. If there are some that are making over $475,000 a year, then yes, we are going to ask them to pay a little bit more. But we know there aren't many because, again, there are only 5,000 filers in the whole state who will be impacted by this tax. Instead, small businesses, as we heard earlier from Roger, will enjoy better schools, better roads and bridges, and better outdoor spaces if we raise this revenue. One thing that hasn't been mentioned today, but you all know, this is a very popular proposal. In fact, 72% of Rhode Islanders, which means there were Republicans supporting it. It means there are people in Johnson who are supporting it. This is popular, guys. Everybody thinks this is a good idea, and so we should pass it now. The other thing that I just want to hit on is how this will address our racial and tax equity. Our overall tax structure is regressive, which means the folks in the lowest income bracket, when you add up all their taxes together, are paying more, a higher percent of their income in taxes than those in the highest percent. That's upside down. That's an upside down tax structure. Also, currently the top 40% of income earners, let alone the top 1%, are disproportionately white Rhode Islanders. That means if we can rebalance our tax code, we can begin to address these inequities, both in our tax code and in racial inequities. So in closing, the economics behind taxing the rich and investing Rhode Island programs are clear. This proposal will help Rhode Islanders, including small businesses, and there's no proof that it will drive the wealthy out of the state. It's rhetoric like that they just use to try to divide us. But if we invest in all our communities, we will make sure that all Rhode Islander is a better place to live for ourselves, our children, and our families. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Rachel, and thank you to all of our speakers today. Representative Alzate, Roger, Terry, Khadijah, Pastor Rodriguez,